So you're brand new to Bitcoin and you want to get a Bitcoin wallet, but you don't know which one to get, let alone how a Bitcoin wallet even works. Well, look no further. This video is going to walk you through how to set up your first Bitcoin wallet, as well as the ins and outs of how it works, how to back it up, how to restore it. And it's also going to point you towards your next resources so that you can begin to learn your way around Bitcoin in its entirety. I am Ben with the BTC Sessions. This is your daily session.
Hodl the Bitcoin.
Bitcoin Well is on a mission to enable independence by being one of the easiest and quickest ways to purchase Bitcoin in Canada and the US. And the best part about it, every buy goes directly into your own self-custody. They never hold your coins. You can add a Bitcoin address as part of onboarding. There's a transparent 1% spread, no hidden fees, no withdrawal fees. Plus they have KYC free sells and bill payments on their website. They're also a publicly traded company under the ticker BTCW on the TSXV. Check them out over at bitcoinwell.com. Check out my full tutorial on how to use them, and you can check out the links in the show notes down below and sign up today. Coinkai.com has some of the best hardware on the market today to secure your Bitcoin. The Coldcard Q is an absolute powerhouse and is my daily driver. And on top of this, they have plenty of other goodies, including the Mark IV, the Tapsigner, Open Dimes, the Block Clock, and much more. If you head over to their website, make sure you use code BTC Sessions at checkout to get a nice discount. Links are in the show notes down below. Backups are important, and Cedorio.io has one of the most robust and beautifully designed steel backup solutions on the market today. You can stamp your seed phrase into solid steel with one of their starter kits for 1 or 2 seeds, and secure your seed phrase from the elements like fire, water, and corrosion. On top of this, if you ever need to swap out any of the information therein, you can just grab a new set of discs and slide them into the capsule as you see fit. I've done a full tutorial on them that you can check out. Otherwise, click the links down below for the best shipping options for you. So let's start with some prerequisites. What are you going to need to know in order to successfully navigate this tutorial? And luckily, again, this is coming from a very beginner's perspective, so you're not going to need much. In this video, we're going to be dealing with something called Blue Wallet. So you can head to bluewallet.io and it will have links to whatever app store is best for you, or you can just search it up on the app store on your phone right away. Secondly, you're also going to need a place to obtain Bitcoin, and this is going to be very dependent on your jurisdiction. One place that is worth checking out is Bitcoin Well, and they are available in Canada and the US, and I'm going to be using them as an example today. If you're outside of these jurisdictions, then you can always look locally and see what's available to you. So more or less, that's all you're going to need. So a wallet and a source of Bitcoin, and then you are going to follow along with me and we're going to get started right away. But first, let's address what exactly a Bitcoin wallet is. So the term wallet isn't exactly accurate in terms of what is actually happening in the background with this piece of software you're going to have on your phone or your computer. So Bitcoin is a giant ledger of who owns what, and copies of this ledger can be around the world, but more or less everybody at the same time can see what money is where. So an analogy that I like to use is, imagine if you looked up in the sky and there were a whole bunch of different safety deposit boxes. Anybody can have any amount of safety deposit boxes you want, and they're free to set up. Anybody can use them. Furthermore, these safety deposit boxes, they are all transparent, and you can see all of the money that has ever existed and what boxes they're in. You may not necessarily know who owns what boxes, but you can see all of the money in existence. Now, each of these boxes has a slot on the front of it, and anybody can slide cash into these slots. So you can see all of the money and you can take money and put them into the slot. However, in order to open up any safety deposit box and take money out, you need a key. So you need a key that can unlock that box, take out cash, and then you can put that into any other box that you want. If you put it into a box that you yourself don't own, you can never take that money out. Just as if you have a box where you have a key for it, nobody can ever forcefully enter that safety deposit box unless they have a key or a copy of the key. So your Bitcoin wallet actually holds the keys to your money, and you can create copies of those keys as spare keys in case you misplace the first one. So we're going to be diving into utilizing a Bitcoin wallet and setting it up so you have the keys to your money yourself. And we're going to start that right now with Blue Wallet on our phones. So here I am with Blue Wallet, very plain intro screen here, not much to look at, and we're just going to be adding a new wallet. Now, as I said, you can have as many different wallets as you want. You can always create new ones. They are free to create. And so here on our main screen, we do have an Add Now button in the middle. We also have a little plus sign up in the top right, and both of them will allow you to add a new wallet. So we're going to hit Add Now. It gives us a few options. We're going to keep it very simple. We're just going for the pre-selected top option, which says Bitcoin. We're not going to dive into what these other options are for now. And then we're just going to call it something simple. I'm just going to call it My Wallet. Perfect. And now we're going to hit the blue Create button. So what you're not seeing right now is that on my main screen of my Blue Wallet, and there's a security feature where I can't share the screen while I'm doing this. It says, please take a moment and write down this mnemonic phrase on a piece of paper. It's your backup, and you can use it to recover the wallet. And then down below this, it shows me 12 English words. And so the idea here is I'm going to write down these 12 words physically. I'm not going to take a picture or screenshot of them. I'm not going to type them into a document on my computer. No digital copies of these words are to be made. And why is that? It's because these are the keys to your money. If somebody makes a copy of said keys or gets this information, these 12 words, they have the keys to your money. And in our analogy, that means that they can look up, they can unlock your safety deposit box and take out your cash. So you don't want that to happen. You want a physical copy so that if you break your phone, you delete the app, anything like that, all you need is those 12 words. You can re-download the app and import them, and you'll be able to unlock your box again and take out any of the cash that is held within it. So I'm going to jot down these words, and then we're going to come back and we will see our newly created wallet. And so here I am. Once I've said, okay, I wrote them down, it bumps me to this main screen. And so we're now just going to kind of get a lay of the land, what is in front of us here. So we're kind of on the main screen here. And what I mean by the main screen is if we swipe to the side, we have the ability to create another wallet. And that wallet will show up kind of in between here so that we can always swipe over to different accounts that we may have. We're just going to stick with one for this video, but know that at any time you can swipe over to the side, hit Add Now, and create an entirely different wallet alongside this one, and they can both be accessed back and forth. Now, down below, there is a transaction section, and this will show any general transactions that have happened in any existing wallet within Blue Wallet. So if you have multiple different accounts, they will all show, and the most recent ones will be down below here. When I actually tap on the wallet itself, the little credit card looking thing, it will turn the entire top of the screen the color of said wallet. And we will now be into kind of the main part of this particular account. It has a balance up top as well as the name of my wallet. If I tap the balance, it will show the balance in sats or in my local currency. This is currently in US dollars. And so in terms of denominations here, if you're watching this, I imagine you know what a Bitcoin is, but you may be unfamiliar with sats. These are kind of like pennies to dollars, except for there are many more sats in a Bitcoin. There are 100 million sats in one Bitcoin. And I would go as far as to say that sats are kind of the new standard. when you're referring to Bitcoin, you're probably going to be referring to sats because one Bitcoin is quite a large amount. And so when you're looking at your wallet, you're probably going to be looking at it denominated in sats, unless you really like decimals. And so this is kind of my default that I tend to deal with. Again, down below, you'll have a transaction screen, and this will be transactions just specific to this account. You also have a receive and send button down at the very bottom of the screen. In the top right, there are 3 little dots, and if I tap on those, it takes me into my settings. I can change the name of my wallet. I can back it up again. And then it does have some more technical stuff down at the bottom. And then finally, you can delete the wallet if you want to, although you better have your backup handy if you end up doing that, and it will give you a warning. And if there's any balance, it will make you type in the balance before you actually delete it. Okay, so that's pretty much that. If we do hit receive, it says, hey, have you saved your wallet's backup phrase? That is required to access your funds in case you lose your device. It shows this warning the first time that you go into this, and then after that, it will no longer do. So I'll say, yes, I've done that. And so this is now our receive screen. It shows me a QR code and a string of digits down below it. Both of those are the same information, just represented differently. The QR code is for when you are in front of somebody and they want to send you money from their phone. They can simply hit send and scan your QR code without having to copy and paste information. However, if you are not directly in front of somebody, you can simply tap at the string of digits down below, and it will copy it to your clipboard. You can then paste it into a text message or an email or whatever messenger you happen to be using. And that is all the information anybody needs to send you Bitcoin from anywhere in the world. Okay. Furthermore, you can hit the share button, and it will give you options for different applications that you might want to share this information through. And yeah, that's pretty much that. If you're not currently using if you want to back out, you can just hit the X in the top right. Same applies to the send screen. There's a few things in here, and obviously we don't have a balance, but the basic lay of the land is up top. You're going to choose an amount, and it will default to whether you are on Bitcoin or sats. So that will be the denomination you're typing in, or you can hit the 2 little arrows and choose a dollar amount, and it will, or your local currency, and it will interpret how much Bitcoin that is that you need to send. Down below this, you have where you can paste in an address like we saw from our receive screen. So just as an example, I'll paste in my own address, but obviously I'm not going to be sending to myself here. And then you'd be able to send off to that address. And then for notes, this is a note to yourself if you want to type in, oh, this is where I'm sending this transaction. So later when you look back, you can say, oh, this is what I was doing there. And then finally, down below, there's an option for fees. And we will cover fees a little bit more in depth when we actually go to do a send. But just know that you choose your own fee, and it is based on how fast you want your transaction to happen. Okay. And with that, I'm going to hit X in the top corner and the arrow back to our main screen. That is our overview of our wallet. And now we're ready to actually receive some Bitcoin into our wallet for the first time. All right, so we are going to be utilizing Blue Wallet as well as a company called Bitcoin Well so that I can purchase and receive Bitcoin into my wallet right away. So first thing I need to do is get a receiving address where I want the Bitcoin to go. So I'm going to tap on my wallet here. I'm going to hit receive. And this gives me, again, that same screen with the QR code and the string of digits or my Bitcoin address down below. I'm simply going to tap to copy that. Now I'm going to navigate over to my Bitcoin Well account here. And I've, just so you know, I've already kind of logged in, signed up there. You basically go through a sign up process and then you're able to purchase Bitcoin from them. And so I'm on the buy Bitcoin screen, and this is going to vary depending on what service you're using. If you're using Bitcoin Well, great. But if not, then it will look a little bit different, but the same general idea. So this is the main screen of Bitcoin Well. I just hit buy. I type in the amount I'm looking for. And actually on Bitcoin Well, this is just to give me an idea of how much Bitcoin I'm going to receive. And then down below, I need to say where am I going to be sending it to? I have an old address that I used previously to purchase, but I'm going to put in this new one from Blue Wallet. And again, if you're using something different, then it may look a little bit different, but it will request a receiving address to send the Bitcoin to. So I'm going to hit add new wallet. I'm going to call it Blue, and then I will paste in the address that I just copied. It's always a good idea, and I did mentally make a note of the first few digits and the last few digits just to cross compare, make sure you're pasting in the same address. And so I'm looking here, that looks like the one that I had made a note of. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to hit add, and there we go. So now my designated wallet address is the one for my Blue Wallet. So that looks all good. Now, Bitcoin Wallet has a handful of different options for purchasing Bitcoin, how to load my account with dollars. I am in Canada, so I'm going to be sending over Canadian dollars via something called e-transfer. But if you're in the US, there's going to be some different options for you. But nonetheless, they give me instructions on how to do that. If I tap on e-transfer, it says send an e-transfer to this email address. Here's the security question so that we know how to receive the funds and everything. So I've already done that in my online banking. So I'm just going to send $100 to them right now. And I should receive, before we go, I should receive in and around this amount of Bitcoin. Now, the other thing that I might want to do on Bitcoin Well is I might want to designate how quickly I want to receive. You can receive it for free, where you don't have to pay a fee to get it. You don't have to pay a transaction fee. And that would go out in a certain cadence. They batch a whole bunch of transactions all together at the same time, and it keeps it cheap for them and it keeps it free for you to withdraw. Or you can say, no, I want this right away and I'm willing to pay for that service. So I can choose urgent. And it looks like at the time it's going to cost me about $2.76. Just for the purposes of this tutorial, I'm going to choose the urgent one so that we can see it actually happen quickly. So nonetheless, all I need to do, we already saw the screen where, I'm going to buy $100 worth of Bitcoin. This is how much it's going to get me. And I've already put in the address that it's going to go to, and I know who to send it to. Great. So I'm just going to go to my online banking. I've already prepped this in advance, but this is online banking and I'm paying a pay at Well Wallet $100. I've set up everything. So I'm just going to hit continue. It'll give me a summary and I'm going to send it now out of my bank account. And it should land relatively quickly. And it is asking me for a verification. But once I hit that verification through a text message, then it'll send off right away. And I just jumped ahead through the text message and we can now see that those funds have been sent off. And in very short order, this will automatically make the purchase for me. And the way that Bitcoin Well works is the second that money lands, then it will land in my Bitcoin wallet over in Blue. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to X out and I can just kind of wait a couple of minutes. If I want to refresh, if you're waiting for money to come in, you can just pull down on the screen and it will scan really quickly. So this typically lands roughly, it's super quick. So if I scan again, then it might already be there. But last time I did it, it took a couple of minutes to come through, not even. So yeah, I was very happy with the speed at which these transactions do go through. And there we go. I can see it right there. So it says pending transaction. Now, Bitcoin transactions on average take about 10 minutes to be fully settled, meaning that you can't reverse them in any way, shape, or form. So basically, I see the funds coming in here, and I'm just waiting on them to fully confirm. I can even tap on the transaction. It shows me a little bit of details. It says, again, ETA in about 10 minutes, and that's just fine. If I'm really in a rush and it's, taking longer than expected, I can always hit the bump fee button. I'm not going to bother with that because I did put it as urgent. And if I want to see details, there's some technical details there. And I can even use view in Block Explorer. It shows me waiting in line to be the next transaction to go through on the Bitcoin blockchain. So kind of cool features there that you can see. You don't need to know the technicals of it, but I just think it looks kind of cool there. So either way, we'll be back as soon as this fully confirms into my wallet. And within a couple of minutes here, I can now see that the transaction is officially confirmed, and that is now reflected in my balance up top in sats. And just so you know, when I click through and it shows the dollar amount, the discrepancy there is because this wallet is currently denominated in US dollars and I was sending 100 Canadian dollars. And side note, yes, the Canadian dollar is that bad. But nonetheless, my sats have arrived. I now have Bitcoin in my wallet and I'm able to use it and send it out if I want, which is what we're going to touch on next. Okay, so the next thing I want to show is how to send a transaction. And in this instance where you've just got a wallet on your phone, it's a pretty simple process. So let's go through. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to hit that send button down at the bottom of the screen. And this is going to bring up your send screen. It's just going to ask for some information. It's going to ask how much do you want to send? What address would you like to send it to? And do you want to add a note? And then finally, what fee would you like to attach to your transaction? So we're just going to go through those one by one. So you can enter an amount in sats, in dollars, in BTC. So you just keep on hitting those arrows and you get the denomination that you want to set it in. And you can put in any amount that you want there as long as you have enough within your wallet. Alternatively, if you want to send your full balance, if you go to the top right, the three little dots there, you're going to get an option that says use full balance. And I'm going to hit that right now. And it says, are you sure? I'm going to hit OK. So then it just shows as max. I'm sending the max amount. Okay. Up next, I need an address. And as I was going through the initial walkthrough of the wallet, I showed pasting in an address. So if you were to copy that from a text message or an email, you could paste that in. This time, let's hit the scan button off to the right. And we're going to scan a QR code. I actually have a second phone over here that I'm going to send to, and we'll scan that. So I'm going to hit the scan button. It's going to open up my, my camera here, and I'm going to scan this QR code, and it scans and imports all of the same digits that I would have pasted had I received that via a message. And so it's always good to double check, again, the first and last few digits of an address, and I can see it looks the same to me here. Great. And then finally, I'm going to add a note. Now this is going to another wallet that I own called Phoenix Wallet. So I'm just going to put a note for that. And then finally, the fee. We're just going to tap on the amount there, and that will give us our options. And I can see my options in terms of fast, medium, and slow. I'm going to choose fast for this one. And we'll break down and talk about what the how fees work a little bit more in depth after sending this. But for right now, I'll just go ahead. I'm going to choose fast, leave it as that, and I'm going to hit next. This gives me a summary of what I'm doing. I'm sending this amount of Bitcoin, of course, minus the fee that I'm paying, to the following Bitcoin address. Does that look okay? And then down at the bottom, it shows me the dollar amount of what the fee I'm paying is. Okay, great. That sounds good. I'm going to go ahead and hit send now. And off it goes out of my wallet, gives me my little check mark. I can hit done. And when I head back to my main screen, if I tap on the amount now, I can see it zeroes out and I see the pending confirmation, the transaction right here, which I can tap on and see any information that I need to see. If it's taking a long time and I need it to go quicker, of course, I can use that bump fee button down there and it will rebroadcast the transaction with a higher fee if I want. But that is that. So we've now received and sent Bitcoin out of our wallet. Let's touch on those fees though really quick so that you understand exactly how things are working there. So the important thing to know regarding Bitcoin fees is that it has nothing to do with the amount of money that you're sending. It has to do with a few other factors. Number one, how busy is the network currently? How many people are trying to send transactions in and around the same time? Number two, how much data does your transaction take? When it comes to Bitcoin, the amount of data, the amount of bits and bytes that your transaction takes has a factor on how much it's going to cost you. Okay. And then finally, number three is going to be how urgent is your transaction? And that's the part where you get to set the amount that you want in regards to how urgent it is. So you do have some control over that in terms of speed based on your preference. What you don't have control over is the amount of data. In most instances, there are ways around that, but that is something you'll learn about a bit later on. And you don't have control over how busy the network is, how many other people are trying to transact, but you do have control over how urgent it is for you. Okay. So in terms of that, there are ways to deal with Bitcoin in a way that can make it cheaper if you're going to be transacting frequently and you need things to be fast. And these types of spending wallets are in and around what we would call layers on top of Bitcoin, things like the Lightning Network, the Liquid Network, and some other tools. So I'll, at the end of the video, be discussing a little bit about some of those options and how you may want to move Bitcoin into some spending wallets if you're going to be doing a lot of small transactions. And you can go and dive down that rabbit hole when the time is right for you to investigate that. But the point of this video is the basics, and we are covering the basics of fees and how they work here. So with that, we're going to dive into the next topic, which is what happens if you lose your phone or delete your wallet. Debify.com allows you to borrow against your Bitcoin in a non-custodial way. Collateral is held in a 3 of 4 distributed multi-sig with trusted parties. It provides institutional liquidity providers, loan periods of up to 5 years with flexible conditions and the best rates. And best of all, no rehypothecation of your funds. If you want to check them out today, head over to Debify.com or hit the link in the show notes down below. Start9 is your sovereign computing solution, allowing you to use plug-and-play devices to host not only your Bitcoin stack, but your digital life. You can run things like your Bitcoin Core node, your Lightning node, mempool.space, join market, as well as your personal data, files, passwords, photos, Nostr relays and clients, and even some AI tools without censorship. They have everything from entry-level devices all the way up to what I'm running, which is the Start9 Server Pure. You can check them out over at start9.com and be sure to use code BTC Sessions with a plus sign in order to get an 18% discount off of the Server Pure. When it comes to assisted multisig and inheritance planning, it's hard to beat NUNCHUK.io and their Honey Badger program. On your mobile device, they allow you to set up a full multi-signature vault. And once it's done, you have baked in inheritance planning so that your Bitcoin gets to your next of kin if anything should happen to you. On top of this, the entire thing can be set up with devices like the Tapsigner, the Coldcard, and plenty more options. And the whole thing can be done without KYC. You don't need to give up your personal information to have it set up and working for you. You can check them out today over at nunchuk.io. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm actually going to go ahead and I'm going to delete this wallet off of my phone. All right. And the reason we're doing that is so we can see how to recover our funds in the event that something unfortunate happens. And we're going to be utilizing the seed phrase or the 12 words that we got when setting up the phone itself. So I'm going to go within this wallet just to recenter ourselves. Let's go back to the main screen. How would I delete this wallet? Well, I would select the wallet I want. And I would go to the 3 dots at the top right-hand side, and then I would scroll down and I would see the delete button down at the bottom here. I'm going to tap that, and it says, are you sure? Do you want to delete this? I'm going to say yes, delete. If you have a balance, it will warn you that you have a balance, and it will actually force you to type in the amount of sats that you currently have so that you actually actively have to say, yes, I understand this amount of money is in the wallet. So it makes it very intentional. Nonetheless, there's 0 balance. So I'm going to hit yes, delete, and off it goes. Okay, great. So everything's gone out of here. Now, I need to recover this. So let's pretend this is a brand new phone, or I just downloaded the app again. I need to recover. What do I do? Well, I'm still going to do the same thing. I'm going to hit add wallet. I'm going to hit add now. Now on this screen, this is where it's going to differ. I'm not creating a new wallet. That's what all this stuff up top is for. Down below, there's an option that says import wallet, and I'm going to click on that. Okay, at this point, I'm able to type in the 12 words that I previously had. And again, it's giving you a blank screen right now because for security reasons, it doesn't want me to show what I'm typing in. But basically, you just have a box where you can type in 12 words, just separated by spaces, no caps lock or anything like that. You just type in 12 plain words, and then there's a button that says import. So I'm going to do that right now, and we'll be right back when I hit that button. All right, so after I hit the import button, I get a screen, and it's going to be scanning through some stuff. But you will eventually end up here where it says, alert, your wallet has been successfully imported, assuming that you have the correct 12 words. At that point, I can hit OK. And now how do I know that this is the same wallet, right? Because we sent out the total balance. What if this is just a different wallet? Well, if I tap on the wallet itself, it's going to check for previous transactions. And lo and behold, there is our history of the wallet. We can see the previous transactions in and out, and even the note that I gave to myself that says Phoenix. So everything is there. I've successfully imported my wallet. Now, the cool thing about this is we just did this in the same app. But when it comes to Bitcoin, again, remember, it is a global network. It is a global ledger of who owns what. And so I am in no way tied to this particular wallet. I can take my 12 words and I can use whatever piece of software I like. So I'm going to give you a quick example of what it looks like to do the same thing on my desktop with something called Sparrow Wallet. It is a bit more of an advanced wallet, but just to prove a point that you can use whatever software you like. So let's jump over and see what that looks like. So here I am with Sparrow Wallet on my desktop. I'm just going to click File, New Wallet, and I'm going to give it a name. I'll just call it Blue, Blue Test for now. Okay. And I'll hit Create Wallet. Now, again, scary looking screen. I'm going to kind of gloss over all the stuff here. Again, this is kind of a power user wallet, but I'm going to say new or imported software wallet. And up top, I see the option to input words. And it does say 24 words, but there's a drop down and I can choose 12 words, which is what I had. So now I'm simply going to type in the words that I previously had, and then we will try to import them and see what happens. Okay, so I've got my 12 words typed in. I can see the blue button lights up that says create. I'm going to do that. I'm going to hit the blue button again, import key store. Again, some technical terms. And then the last thing, I'm just going to hit apply. And I'm not going to add a password for right now. Nonetheless, it's importing all of my information. I'm just going to go to the main screen here and just see if it imports the same stuff that we had in the old wallet. And there we go. There is the exact same two transactions, one coming in, one going out. And we've successfully imported the same wallet, or rather the same keys, to Sparrow Wallet here on my desktop. So the way I'd like you to think of this is wallets, or the software that you use as a wallet, it doesn't hold your Bitcoin, it holds your keys. And so you can kind of think of it like when you go on the internet, it doesn't matter what browser you use. You could use Chrome or Firefox or Safari. If you go to look at a website on the internet, you will see the same thing through all of those different types of browsers. And the same is true when you use a Bitcoin wallet software. You put in your key, it will show you the same information as pertains to your particular account and your funds. So that's what we've just done. And that's how you can recover your Bitcoin wallet with simply your backup words. So now that you have walked through setting up and using your first Bitcoin wallet, let's talk about what some of your next steps might look like. What are you going to want to master next? Well, I did spend a section in the last part talking about Bitcoin fees, and those can fluctuate based on how busy the Bitcoin network is. In our regular world, we have a lot of different forms of money, and we use them in different ways that allow us to be quicker and faster and cheaper with how we utilize cash. And Bitcoin is sound money, right? There's a limited supply, so it's more akin to something like gold. And when we were on a gold standard, basically you would have gold perhaps sitting in vaults, and you would have cash that represented the gold back and forth. Of course, we don't have that anymore. Our cash is just cash, not backed by anything. But the point remains, we used cash as a way to improve the user experience represented by the sound money that was gold underneath it. And then we moved on to things like banks with debit cards and credit cards and all these different things that were meant to kind of represent the currency underneath, but it expedited the process of those transactions. We made trade-offs along the way in order to achieve those. With Bitcoin, we've got our base layer, and that's kind of like our physical gold. That is meant primarily for, I would say, larger value transactions. And I would say that when you're utilizing it, you want to be smart about how you do so. Just like you wouldn't ship a few flakes of gold to the other side of the planet. You may not use a regular Bitcoin transaction to buy a cup of coffee or to send a small tip of $1 to somebody across the world. What you're going to be using when it comes to Bitcoin is likely something like a Lightning wallet or a Liquid wallet, or perhaps in the future, things like Fedimints and other ways that have been utilized to scale Bitcoin with minimal trade-offs. And so what I'm going to suggest here is that you check out a couple different wallets here that I tend to like and that I'm kind of interested in currently. So the first one that I'll show you is called Phoenix Wallet. This is a Bitcoin Lightning wallet. And the way that I would like you to conceptualize this is you can take regular Bitcoin transactions, you can send them into this wallet, ideally in a larger form. So maybe you're sending a few $100 or something like that, and you're loading up a spending wallet. And so as soon as you load up that wallet, when you want to do a bunch of smaller transactions, they will be instant and very, very cheap comparative to Bitcoin that can fluctuate and can at times be expensive. So this is something like your spending wallet. Similarly, Aqua Wallet utilizes Lightning and the Liquid network. Again, and I'm not going to get super detailed about what those different things are and you know the technicals behind it, but just know that you can utilize Aqua in a way where you can send quicker and cheaper transactions. So it can be a day-to-day spending wallet. Now within Aqua, you can also have how they denote it, a savings account and a spending account, and you can swap between them natively within the app. And they're adding more features to make this a little bit more seamless as you go along. So it's a cool wallet. It's worth checking out. And again, it can be your day-to-day spending wallet. Now, on the other side of things, there is long-term savings. And so I want to talk about two different terms, hot wallets and cold wallets. A hot wallet is a wallet that resides where the keys to your money reside on a device that is connected to the internet. So what we made today with Blue Wallet was a hot wallet. What Phoenix and Aqua are hot wallets. Even Sparrow, that was on my desktop computer, is a hot wallet. A hot wallet is primarily used for, we'll say, amounts that aren't going to be like your life savings. You're not going to shove all of your life savings into a hot wallet. You want in your hot wallet maybe what you would be comfortable walking around with as cash, or maybe in and around that range. Once it starts to get a little bit higher, you're going to want a cold wallet. And that's because a hot wallet, when connected to the internet, that means that the keys to your money are only as secure as the device they reside on. So if your phone is compromised or has malware or gets hacked, or same with your computer, somebody could potentially make a copy of your keys and spend your money. If it's just pocket cash, things like that, that's not going to fully break the bank. It's not going to have you on the street, but it's still not ideal. It's not to say you shouldn't have hot wallets, just use them appropriately. A cold wallet would be a dedicated device that is not connected to the internet that creates and holds the keys to your money. And in order to utilize that wallet, you're going to be using it in some way where either you plug it in, or you're scanning QR codes, or using SD cards, or using NFC to tap. But the idea is that the keys to your money are stored offline so that remote hacking attempts are impossible. And so a couple suggestions that I have in that realm that I think are kind of cool. So number one is the stuff that Coldcard is doing, I think is really great. So this thing kind of looks like an old school BlackBerry. It's called the Coldcard Q, and it's pretty awesome. And I've done some videos on it. You can check it out. You can use it either very simply, or you can use it in various advanced ways as well. Now, if you want something a little bit more low key and simpler and basic to get started with, the Tapsigner is also an excellent option. It's basically a little card that you can slide in with your credit cards, or keep at home in a safe, depending on how you're using it. And more or less, when you want to spend money from an account, you would say what you want to do on your phone. You would then enter a PIN on your phone, and then, and only then, could you then tap the card to the back of your phone and approve the transaction. So it gives some additional security so not just anybody can spend your money. And so I hope that that is helpful for you to get you down your next steps so you understand how to use spending wallets and saving wallets appropriately based on your preferences. And if you want to kind of keep up to date on the latest things that I'm using and that you would like to dive into. So on the main page of my website, what you'll see on btcsessions.ca, there's a section that is called Learn. If you click on Learn, it will take you to a page that outlines some of the things that I'm using right now, including some great wallets that you can check out, some hardware that you can check out for your cold wallets, and even other things about multisig, running nodes, and all kinds of different rabbit holes you can fall down. But it will start to lead you down a trajectory of learning in your Bitcoin journey. I do hope that it is helpful for you. Just some final thoughts here to wrap up. I will say that if you're just getting started in your Bitcoin journey, take everything one step at a time, but keep learning. The biggest thing that tends to happen to people is they ingest so much content that they get into analysis paralysis, meaning they're so overwhelmed by so much information that they do nothing. And that's the spot you don't want to be in. You've already taken the first step of learning how to set up a Bitcoin wallet, receive, send funds, and then delete and recover said wallet with your backup seed phrase. Well, now you have the tools to move on to your next, which is spending wallets and saving wallets with cold storage. Don't let yourself get too overwhelmed. Just choose a track to go down and step in that direction, and always be adding to your knowledge base, and you'll be just fine. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, please do like, subscribe, share. All those things are super important, getting this content in front of more eyeballs. If you want to help the show in another way, you can hit up the previously mentioned sponsors down below in the show notes. They're all down here. And if you're having any trouble, if you want some additional one-on-one assistance, you can reach out to me at my website, btcsessions.ca. And in the booking section, you can book me for one-on-one educational sessions. With that, I am out. Have yourselves a wonderful day or evening, wherever you may be. I'll see you guys next time for your daily session.
Hodl the Bitcoin.